Wow, welcome back everybody. This Monday, the 28th of September, and I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Mojo Maker. Pretty cool day today. So a lot of people are on school holidays still, which is really great, I guess. I don't know. A lot of people haven't even been sending their kids to school this year, so it's all very upside down. What I want to talk to you about today, if you haven't been on the show, is part 2 in the Adulting, the Rally of Life series, which is about taking that accountability to get out of overwhelm and really get in the driver's seat of life. So welcome. This is the Mojo Maker Show. I am your host, Nikki Fogden-Moore. If you're listening to this on the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. Please give us a like or a comment or some reviews. That'd be amazing. If you're watching this on YouTube, Vitality Coach TV, please like and subscribe. The notification button is down below. And if you've been on Monday Mojo on the blog when you're watching this, thanks so much. I hope that this information and the full blog that I write to go with this video helps you take the tools that I give you in these videos and make them really real time for you and relevant. That my goal is that you can listen to these videos and take 1 or 2 immediate steps away with you, and that you just happen to be watching it at precisely the right time. So if you want more information on any of this, including the new book, Adulting, the Rally of Life, or if you want to get a copy of Vitality or Fitpreneur, please hop on to my website, thevitalitycoach.com.au, or just type in Nikki Fogden-Moore, the Mojo Maker, and it will all be sitting there. Also, you can find me on Spotify, iTunes, or the usual podcast platforms. And come and say hi on Instagram at nfogden-moore as well. So guys, I know that time is the one commodity we can't exchange. So let's make good use of it here together on this week's Monday Mojo. Number 2, stage 2 in Adulting, the Rally of Life, is awareness, that very important checkpoint. And what I've done today is I've really made this video nice and short. I want to talk to you about how to go from chaos to calm in 3 easy steps. Now, I would like to remind you that you can deploy this anytime that you feel a sense of overwhelm, of chaos, that you're becoming unhinged, unanchored, muddle-minded, everything else. These are the times that you have to pay serious attention to your body, to your mind, to how you feel. And in last week's video, series 1 for the 7-week program, I spoke about the signs of overwhelm, recognizing when you're in survival mode, and really just not suppressing those feelings, but actually going, I really need to listen to the fact that I feel completely out of alignment. I don't feel myself, and I'm not able to make conscious, good, clear decisions. Why would you keep driving on a wobbly wheel? You just wouldn't, because it's going to end up in disaster. The same thing in our lives. We get on autopilot. We push down the signs that our mind and body and emotions are trying to tell us when things are off kilter. So if you haven't already, I've put the link for last week's video. When this video finishes, I'll put the link in the description box below so that you can go to that. Otherwise, just click last week's live stream on Monday Mojo, that is Adulting Survival Mode. So let's get into checkpoint 2 in Adulting, the Rally of Life. And if you've been listening to my podcasts or watched any of the Truth series, the Courage series, or basically anything from the show, you'll know the message is about lifting the veil on staying in this constant mode of fighting your way through life, surviving your way through life, coping, resilience, giving 100%, and feeling like every day you have to get up and fight for your position. There really is a different thing that we have to harness as adults in this life, which is the feeling of joy and curiosity in the journey that we're in. Because no matter what landscape, no matter what title, no matter what age, the fact is you've got 2 choices. Your perspective about life will define whether or not you're going to enjoy this journey. Let me just remind you and say that again. Your perspective about this life will actually define whether or not you're going to enjoy this journey. Now, life doesn't just do things to you. We all have situations of chaos, of grief, of tragedy, challenges. It just depends on how we deal with those things. And that is really, really important. So today, I want to talk to you about understanding the 3 immediate steps you can do when you start to feel that you are really becoming overwhelmed, that it's too much and you're losing that sense of peace, calm, and clarity. Those three things, peace, calm, and clarity, are essential ingredients to navigate through this crazy world that is all seasons and all conditions. And I said this last week, I will say this again, the conditions are always perfect. I'll give you my little Red Bull analogy. So you're flying up in the sky, there's a plane, you've got two parachuters, one's a Red Bull athlete addicted to adrenaline. The other one, let's just say, I don't know, don't take it the wrong way, but it's just an accountant, really doesn't want to have anything to do with anything stressful. They both say they have to jump out of this airplane. The accountant is absolutely petrified, does not want to do it, only thinking the worst, absolutely thinking that life's just going to end and the worst possible things, actually feels physically sick and completely afraid that he's going to die. The Red Bull athlete cannot wait to jump out of the plane, watching his watch, ready for that adrenaline. Same plane, same altitude, same situation, two different perspectives. And that's really what we have in life. All of us have a landscape that's going to be challenging at times. All of us are going to go through breakups. We're going to go through births and deaths and marriages, divorces, jobs, titles. Some people are going to go through having it all, losing it all. There's just so much as humans that we get thrown to deal with. So instead of trying to navigate the semantics of those things, it's all about coming back and harnessing the true superpowers that we're all given, which is that ability to drop a pin and understand why you're here in the first place. And that is really the essence of joy, whether or not you're building a business or you want to get through this pandemic time ahead of the game. It's all to do with how you wake up in the morning and decide to navigate your way through your day and whatever's coming. Hail, rain, sunshine, or snow, it really doesn't matter. So overwhelm, stress, anxiety, fear, panic, those things, they override our personal GPS. So you know that when you're tired or exhausted or you're triggered or you're in a situation where you're not in flow, you're really not able to make good conscientious decisions, whether it's about cash flow, people, places, or things. You start to get muddy thinking, you start to doubt your own decision-making kind of criteria, and you get real confusion. And when you get confusion, more confusion comes of that. So if that's what you are going to do and you feel unanchored and you feel like you're not making good decisions and you feel like you just don't really know what that compass, what direction you're going in, then this video is for you. And that is about understanding that you have two choices. So in this video, I'm going to teach you at any given moment how to stop when you've recognized the signs that you're in overwhelm, how to breathe, focus, and define what the next best thing to do is, because there's always a solution, always a solution. So the first thing is, a lot of people ask me, they're like, oh, how do I get centered and get grounded? And do I need to meditate for an hour every day and roll out a yoga mat and, wear my prayer beads? And that's why I say to people, it's not about selling the Ferrari and becoming a Buddhist monk, because if everybody that became spiritual and grounded and in their fullest potential decided to run for the hills and not engage in everyday life, who would be left running the show? So it's essential that great value-led leadership, whether it's inside your home, your schools, your community, your companies, by people that have really good sense of what is right and wrong, but that yes, you should be making all the money, and yes, you should be doing great things, and yes, you should be able to share it, and you should be able to enjoy it. So becoming grounded and centered and calm doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and sort of walk away from your life. It actually means that you can start enjoying the life that you're in with a totally different perspective. So the first thing to do when you start to feel exhausted, overwhelmed, confused, is to have the awareness that that is actually happening. That is not normal. That should not be your normal. The normal should be calm, clear, agile, and crisp thinking. So the first thing to do is understand that you need to bring yourself back to that. The easiest way to get grounded is to focus on your breath, to breathe. So the moment you take your thoughts away from external things and you bring them back to your breath and you just focus on your breathing, say 10 breaths in, 10 breaths out, in through your nose, out through your mouth, it immediately brings you back into self. So it takes all the external concerns, ideas, thoughts, conversations, and it brings you back into self. So the very first thing you can do to bring yourself into awareness is to understand and follow your breath. So breathing. The second thing is to recognize what you're focusing on. Are you focusing on what's going to go wrong? Fear, doubt, blame, shame, guilt, past regrets, regression, resentment? Or are you curious and going, why is this coming up? What can I do to shift my perspective? I back myself. I know I'm going to make a decision. So you're either going to do that focus on the negative thinking, or you're going to understand that you can shift your focus to curiosity. What if? Why not? Instead of this is all going to go wrong, this has happened before, this is absolute disaster. And what I want to remind you about is the ability to have a true perception of what trauma really is. Now, we often panic in today's modern society if our coffee is not hot enough, if there's a queue at the cafe or the supermarket, whereas there are many people that actually have to get up in the morning and fear for their lives. They have to wonder if they're going to have to drag their kids out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning because their houses were being bombed. Or, if you're an animal living in the wild, you really have to sleep with one eye open because you don't want to get attacked by a lion. The problem is that we have this perception of real-time fear, but we're not actually in traumatic situations. So it's an incorrect perception of feeling unsafe. So we've got to reprogram ourselves of what is really going on, which is what is your focus. If you look around you, chances are when you're watching this video, nobody is standing there with a gun to your head. There aren't bombs going off anywhere. You're probably on your phone, on your computer, on your iPad, in the safety of your car, sitting there. You might be on the treadmill. You might be sitting there in your office or on the lounge room or in bed, who knows? But you're probably safe listening to this. You've probably got your headphones in, a coffee, your notebook. Nobody is out to get you. But for some reason in society, we have this continual anxious perception that something horrible is going to go wrong. And that fear is driving your decision making. That fear is keeping you out of alignment. That subconscious belief that good things only last for a second is keeping you out of the pure joy and the ability to stand up for yourself, to show up for yourself, and have awareness that everything is actually going to be okay. And whether this is in a boardroom, when someone comes in and says, we're not going to sign that deal, or this person's leaving, there is always a solution. So if you are experienced in life, you will know that you've got through worse before. Where is the panic? So when you go through these 3 steps and you've realized you're in overwhelm, you're having the awareness to breathe, then you shift your awareness to what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on trauma and chaos, or are you focusing on the reality and a sense of calm and conviction? It is purely your choice. So remember, 2 people jumping out of an airplane, same altitude, 2 different perspectives. What perspective are you going to choose? Because there's always a solution. The third thing, once you've gone through those steps, is to ground yourself and go, what is the one next best thing to do? Not the 10 things, not the domino effect, not if I do this, and this will happen. Because that is our subconscious sabotaging movement. It's sabotaging us taking an accountable action by putting us right back in the fear mode again. If you think about taking 1 step, then stop doing that because you're afraid of the 3 that will follow, then you're right back in the position of stopping action because of fear. So what's really important is that you go, I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to choose my thoughts. I'm going to shift my perspective to curiosity. I'm going to back myself, and I'm going to ask, what is the next best thing to do? And let me give you some examples of that. The next best thing to do might be that you pull over while you're driving to the side of a road, safely turn the car off and take a moment to pause. Because I know many of you that are watching this have had moments where you've had serious levels of anxiety when you've been driving. You're on your way home, something happens and it rises up and you just don't know how to do anything. It just overcomes you. So breathing, shifting your focus, what is the next best thing to do? The same thing if you're going through a family situation, or someone's gaslighting you, or you're having a conversation, or you have to be giving an answer for something. exactly the same rules apply. Instead of worrying about the total solution, what is the next best thing to do? And to help you ascertain what that is, I'm going to put a link on my Monday Mojos. So if you haven't signed up already, Monday Mojo, you can sign up on the vitalitycoach.com.au right at the top of my website. Just click the Monday Mojo sign up. I'm always giving away free worksheets, and these will be on the online program if you buy Adulting, the Rally of Life, the book. But importantly, this is your ego and blurts worksheet. This is what do I need to be doing and what is blocking me when I think about those things. You can't leave all these thoughts and fears, shame, blame, guilt, and regret and avoidance of pain up in your head. You have to start identifying where those thoughts are coming from, that old programming. It is crucial. It is your mental balance sheet. It's the, I really want to do this, and understanding that ego, that blurt, that subconscious behavior that is handbraking you from taking assertive action because of fear. Oh my God, if you walk in and I tell so-and-so that it's over, this, and this is going to happen. You have to be able to acknowledge your truth. So the blurts worksheet, whether it's a big strategic project or it's a small thing or it's just figuring out what you want to do to get out of this immediate moment of chaos, is what is the next right thing to do? And then you must write down the blurts, the roadblocks, the dismissive comments, the negative, the very, very busy little conversation that's going, why would you do that? That's crazy, etc. If you watched any of my videos as well, I want to talk to you about the tone of voice between programming and self. So the programming, the ego tone of voice, is the busy, over-explaining, over-rationalizing, often bossy, very dismissive, demoralizing, and negative voice in your head that says, why would you do that? That seems crazy. You're going to hurt that person. You're going to lose everything. It's all fear-based discussion. Fear, blame, shame, and guilt. And you would have seen that in the Leap Matrix. The self is very, very quiet. The self is usually one or two words. The self doesn't need an explanation. The self just is. Very important. The self doesn't need an explanation. So if I was to ask you, do you love your child? You'd say yes. You wouldn't even think about it. It doesn't need an explanation. That is self. Programming, ego, subconscious is always over-explaining, defending, almost marketing an idea into you. Self is truth. Truth is freedom and liberation. So these videos are part of you getting into the driver's seat of your life, suiting up, showing up for yourself, and understanding that very simply, with just a couple of clicks and coordinates, you can take yourself from being in overwhelm and being in that story and then deciding to take your power back and going, no, I'm going to listen to my breath, the most powerful tool you can do to get grounded. I'm going to understand what thought I'm focusing on, the ego or self. I choose self. And then I'm going to ask myself, what is the next best thing to do? And when all the blurts and the roadblocks and the 3, 4, 5 steps come in, I'm going to recognize that I don't have to think about that right now. I just need to do the one right next thing. Now, those 3 tools can be used in big situations and small situations. They can be used on the side of the road, in a boardroom, around a kitchen table, any moment that you feel you're out of alignment. But the ability to have awareness of self will be your greatest asset, because that is where your inner GPS will come from. And understanding the dialogue and not trying to respond or react and just observing yourself will be a really valuable tool as you navigate through the stage of awareness. And when you go deeper into this chapter with me in Adulting, the Rally of Life, and as we go deeper into some of these journeys, I'll explain to you more about the ability to identify your ego, why you can never get rid of it, but how important it is to accept it and to understand it, but not to listen to it. So you can have a look at other videos. The ego is not your amigo. You can search any of these things on my blog, vitalitycoach.com.au, or just go Nikki Fogden-Moore blog and put any of these topics in. The podcasts, the blogs will all come up there. They're all very practical. They're tools designed to put you in the driver's seat fast and to give you the necessary steps to understand that you absolutely can get your power back. And the most important thing is you don't have to fight to do it. You don't have to claw your way there. You don't have to exhaust yourself. You just have to give yourself the compassion and kindness to shift your perspective and understand that you got this, that you're worth backing, that the courage to define and pioneer for your life is the most important thing you can do. You will do the best by everybody else when you start to show up for yourself. So back yourself on this. Take some time, understand what a real awareness really means. Have a look at the other videos, the Truth series, the Courage series on Monday Mojos, and now the 7-week adulting series, helping you step through from overwhelm into sustainable success. So thank you for listening. If you've been on the podcast, if you've been watching on Vitality Coach TV, the Mojo Maker Show on YouTube, please come like, subscribe, leave some comments. I always love that. Come join me on Instagram at Fogden-Moore. And of course, leave me an email, nikki@thevitalitycoach.com.au if you've got comments, you'd like to hear more. I'd love to hear from you. Adulting the Rally of Life is available for pre-order. There will be an online program that will go hand in hand with this book. It's a real important project for me because I feel like it's a vital toolkit for modern leaders. So I want to leave you guys with a little statement. And I guess remember that everybody else's actions have nothing to do with you. Take care of your own side of the street, lead by example, suit up, find the right pit crew, and ask yourself, what am I prepared to do to design, live, and love the life that I want? And what can I do right now to make that a reality? So I hope today's video has moved you from understanding that you're helpless and hopeless with overwhelm into the ability that with 3 simple steps, with breath, with focus, and daring to define, you can shift yourself quite easily from chaos to calm and just take the next best step to make sure that you're going to be okay. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day wherever you are, or a great evening. Thank you so much. We've reached 100,000 on the podcast of downloads and things, and I'm just truly humbled. Also, really appreciate the messages, the emails that you've all been sending me, and the incredible testimonials that are so real that I'm very aware of the responsibility these words have. So thank you for joining me, and tune in next week on Monday Mojo and enjoy the rest of the videos and the podcasts that are on the Mojo Maker Show. Until next time, you stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.